So Sahil, the progressive voice, has decided to do another 25-minute long video about Tulsi, who has not been running for president in almost a year. And 10 minutes out of that 20-minute video is damn near exclusively dedicated to me. And I gotta admit, it's getting a little weird. I wanna show y'all a couple of minutes of this video because it's hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. Let's check it out.
Tulsi Gabbard is a very fascinating politician. She stormed onto the progressive political scene in 2016 when she stepped down from the DNC to endorse Bernie Sanders. She immediately became a progressive star in a political world that had such few progressives. Fast forward to 2019, and Tulsi Gabbard is the first relevant person to announce her candidacy for president in 2020.
Are you gonna run for president of the United States and do something about it? Do you think she should? Do you think she should? Are you gonna run?
I have decided to run and will be making a formal announcement within the next week.
Whoa.
To take the Democratic nomination and then face Trump. But the question many people asked was simply, why? It was very likely that Bernie Sanders was going to announce his candidacy soon as well, so why would the candidate who dropped everything to endorse Sanders now announce she is running against him, especially when it seemed that the odds of her winning was quite low? Well, this kind of ambiguity from Gabbard would seem to be a campaign trend rather than anomaly. There was already a progressive split brewing after her announcement to run for president. Despite the real numbers of total people supporting Tulsi Gabbard's campaign being next to zero, it was heavy in its voice online in the left sphere because it was a microscopic vocal movement that had to make up for its numbers with volume. These folks were unrelenting in their defenses of Tulsi Gabbard. They had Hawaiian flowers in their name to identify that they are Tulsi Gabbard stans, and if you saw them in your replies, you knew there was a small group of Gabbard stans coming your way. But it seemed no matter what she did, they would defend her. Enter a man named Niko House, an obscure political commentator who just started to build an audience, but he would play a huge role in this. This man was Tulsi Gabbard's biggest defender. He loved Tulsi Gabbard in her campaign. He would stop at nothing to defend her. If you say anything at all negative about her, you can expect to see him replying. This man was literally simp number one for Tulsi Gabbard. He even posted a shirtless picture of himself with the caption, #virginsfortulsi, so hopefully that gives you an idea of who exactly we're dealing with here. He met up with Tulsi Gabbard around the time of her campaign launch and took a picture with him back to back, and it was clear Niko was her attack dog. The main opponent to Tulsi Gabbard would be one of the two co-hosts of the Young Turks, Ana Kasparian. After Tulsi Gabbard announced her run for president, in a couple of TYT videos, Ana Kasparian would offer some criticisms of her past actions, which would be the run-up for her official full thoughts on the Tulsi Gabbard campaign. Ana Kasparian would drop a video on the TYT YouTube channel titled...
Alright, so y'all get the gist of this. First of all, Sahil, I need to explain something to you. If you're going to try to make a career out of talking about how Tulsi supporters are obsessed with talking about and defending Tulsi, then maybe you shouldn't try and use Tulsi's name to make a video showing how clearly obsessed you are with talking about Tulsi and her supporters. So let's just go ahead and clear that up. Literally nobody brought her up. I mean, yeah, she gets brought up every now and then because she's busy introducing legislation. I know that you don't read through legislation and things like that, but over here in real progressive world, like, we read legislation, so I know you didn't hear about her through that. But you are talking about how much popularity she didn't have, and yet you feel compelled to constantly discuss her. And even more interesting, bro, you feel compelled to discuss me. Now, initially I thought about making this a policy center discussion, but seeing as you look like a cross between Porky the Pig and Borat, for you to have the audacity to call somebody a toll cell is just hilariously ironic to me. Bro, listen, you look like the type that buys a premium subscription to Pornhub and you think that that's your idea of a nice date. Like, you can't really be talking about people having sex and who they're not having sex with, because Tulsi is obviously, for those of you who can't figure it out, a combination of a Tulsi supporter who seems to be that way because they are an incel or involuntarily celibate. And I can't think of anyone in the progressive movement who is probably more celibate involuntarily than Sahil. Bro, you look like the representative for the Twinkie trucks. I get it, Sahil. Things are probably rough for you in the girl department. And if that's why you're upset with me and you wanted to ask me for girl advice, that's all you had to do, man. Real talk, that's all you had to do. I'm a nice guy. I don't really hold grudges like that. But once again, it's your inconsistency that a lot of people have a problem with. And also, it's just getting a little bit weird, bro. You always talk about me. You got like 15, 20 videos about me. And I've never talked to you in any significant way ever in my life. Don't know who you are. Don't really care all that much either, other than the fact that it's getting a little bit weird. Now you posting shirtless pics about me, and like I said, it's getting a little weird. Now, I find it interesting that you're so obsessed with Tulsi, and you're talking about no matter what Tulsi does, her supporters defend her, which is actually not the case. Tulsi supporters are harder on her than really anybody else. But you seem to be obsessed with defending Anna, and considering how Anna could care less about your existence, like most of the world, I just really don't understand it, because, like, didn't Anna prop up Elizabeth Warren to the detriment of the progressive movement? Remember, she was even attacking us over that type of stuff. And then Elizabeth Warren threw the progressive movement under the bus. Now, Anna had every reason to know this. She had every reason to predict that that was going to happen, but she did it anyway because, well, that's what Anna does. She's a grift of all grift. She's a grifter. She's a grifter's grifter. She's really good at that. Now, when that happened, you had absolutely nothing to say. That's really weird. I wonder if you're projecting, Sahil. Is that what it is? You think that despite, like, you know, the All Fossil Fuels Act, the Secure America's Elections Act, the Freedom or Fairness in Media Act, the No More Presidential Wars Act, the Stop Financing Terrorism Act, the legislation of pardon Assange, the legislation of pardon Manning, or excuse me, the pardon Snowden, the bill to end the war in Syria, the one she introduced in the war in Afghanistan, the one to prevent a war in Iran. You know, it can be all those bills that make people like Tulsi, right? It has to be her looks, according to you. But with Anna, she has literally zero redeeming qualities, and she's always wrong, basically. And despite her being wrong on an issue that a lot of people would say damned the Bernie campaign, which is pretending as if Elizabeth Warren was progressive, you ain't got nothing to say about Anna, huh? That's weird. That's interesting. And matter of fact, you always defend Anna. There's nothing that she can do wrong. One might assume that you got a little crush, and you think that talking about Niko because Niko don't like Anna, and talking about Tulsi because Tulsi don't like Anna, means that Anna is going to notice you. Well, I got a spoiler alert for you, bro. You're never going to be with Anna. No one knows who you are outside of YouTube. And those who do know who you are don't really care about your existence all that much. You're not important to progressives. You're not important to the movement. And outside of an opportunity to release some stress by roasting your ass, you're not all that important to me either. You're never going to be on TYT. You're never going to be revered as someone to be taken seriously. So the next time you feel like bringing up my name, you can DM me, you can tag me, you can talk to me. But understand, every time you bring up my name from here on out, I'm going to remind you how pathetically irrelevant you actually are. Peace.